In the world of TV shows, reviewing can be very difficult, especially the ones that are still coming out every week, and jobs can get in the way from premiere dates. But there is an upside while I catch up, and that is talking about things that have already come out. So let's talk about Southland. Southland Series Review. So this is basically a first time of reviewing an entire series rather than a single season or a single episode of said season. And what makes this very different is mostly the structure of this show. And that's what I have to say right off the bat with this, is that this show is so individualized in storylines for each episode. Sometimes they blend in once in a while, but it is so well made and channeled and edited so well to a point where there's not a single season I can point out and be like, oh yeah, that was the season that defined it. You know, the whole series is what defines it. And I can't point out a single episode that goes, oh, that was some emotional, powerful stuff, because every single one of them is an emotional, powerful stuff. Pardon my lack in grammar, but it's really one of those shows that makes its point, does it well, and to some feels like it's been cut short because this show had been canceled. Obviously, right off the bat, this show gives you some great set of characters on different levels. I mean, you all have the rookie cop, you have the tenured, a senior officer they call them, and then you also have the detectives. You also have a range of different, just crazy individuals that have been a part of the force for some time. You want that side quipping, snarky guy, you got him. You got that person who's by the book, you got him. You got the rookie, you got him. Everyone in this show gives it their all, and they don't try to be better than the material itself, because the material is just that good. Let's talk about the characters. The rookie cop is Ben Sherman, and the senior officer is John Cooper. And with these two, you really get the chance to kind of dive into the world of what Ben Sherman is about to get himself into, while John Cooper is really forewarning him and also busting his balls a lot at the same time over what this job's about, what is required of him, and how he needs to do things. And that gives us a perspective of what really happens down in LA. Now, I know it's not real, but what these guys do is portray how real it could be. If there was a percentage rating of how realistic the show is, I would say at least 95%. Ben Sherman, I think, is just has that persona of looking like the guy who knows what he's doing, but he also can be that guy that is from the outside looking in, just finally coming into something, being a rookie at something, but still have enough to him that really is compelling enough to say, yeah, you've got some history and you're using it for the right stuff. Go for it. And that goes for John Cooper. He's a senior officer who's been there for at least 20 years, especially when this thing starts out. You meet him when he's got this chronic back pain, and it makes him such an asshole. But at the same time, he channels it just well enough to say, look, this is the job, this is what it makes you, this is how I act, you're going to have to deal with it. Simple as that. I will say, though, this entire relationship is short-lived. It does change over time. First two seasons, you get these two. They're pretty good. After a while, life happens and they don't see each other. Not for the longest time. There's no, oh, well, we need to keep these guys together for sake of the show. On the detective side, we definitely get a great aspect of how the detectives work, and also, like I said before, the personal lives. Now, the person we follow is Lydia Adams. Lydia Adams is not played straightforward like you would see in all these detectives. You're introduced to the detectives, and then they're solving a case, and you find out their personalities that way. Like I said, completely mixed in with personal experiences, personal things, and also the case itself. You definitely see all of this all at once between Lydia Adams, her partner, and then also what the case is at hand. Now, her first partner is Russell Clark. He's a pretty go-getter, kind of like, I'll do everything you say. It's all that kind of good stuff. He's not the kind that will challenge her authority in any way whatsoever. And it works out for both of them, because Lydia Adams is the take charge and let's get this thing done sort of person. Never has there been much of a conflict because they get along so well. When that changes, What do? They give her another partner, but that one is not exactly challenging authority except for just ignoring it. And they get the partner Josie Ochoa, and she's just a senior detective that doesn't give a shit about anything except for what she wants to do, how she wants to do it, and really gives Lydia no time whatsoever to even really adapt. So they clash and they butt heads a couple of times, and then she's like still trying to get over her last partner, Russell, and when things went south between them. But that was a very interesting dynamic. And then we finally get the third one, Ruben Robinson. He was awesome. I think he was the best partner there could have ever been for Lydia when it came to challenging authority, telling it like it is, and being downright awesome during the cases, the intense moments. Like, this guy was not only competent, but he was quotable. And I don't like really making that a praiseworthy thing, but there are so many things that he stood up for, and he's awesome. I love him, and it was so cool. This show also does not cater to be sympathetic to the police force. It shows the gray, black, and white of all areas, so that way you're not sympathizing with just one person. So let's talk about the story here for a second. Now, the story, as I said way back in the beginning here, there is nothing leading into the next episode, to be continued. Tune in next week. You kind of have to come in on your own accord, knowing that there's not a lot going to carry into the next episode. But there is. They not everything is truly forgotten, and that's part of the story. These characters kind of doing their own thing, and they're not worried about, oh, who gets to interact with who today. Let's all make them team up one day and do something. It doesn't work like that in this show. Sometimes you don't even know that it ended. The way they end some of these seasons, it's like, wait, that was it? Oh. So if that's this kind of stuff you want to get into and you like that kind of stuff, then this is definitely a show for you. However, there is a wild card in this show, and I'm only saying this because it's a great cameo for the season, but it really is kind of like, you'll like it, but you can almost see where it's going. And that's when Lucy Liu shows up. And she comes up in season 4. She's introduced, she's given a backstory, she plays it real, and she does not act like she's better. When, hey, Lucy, wait, was she in that for a sec? She's not better, she's not worse, she's really in the same playing field as everyone else. But what makes her such a wild card is knowing that we all know who she is. And how well she's playing this only tells me 1 to 2 things, how the story's going to go for her. But I will definitely say it was one of those things where you're like, I almost could see where you're coming from. What are you trying to do, Southland? What are you doing? So in the end, Southland is just a massive achievement on every level, in the sense of realism, how great people can be, how horrible people can be, all these little things. It really works, and it feels so real, like I was either with them or just observing and just feeling the same things that they were. That's where I leave you guys. Did you guys ever see Southland? And if you did, please tell me what you think. Tell me your praises, tell me your woes. If you like this vid, please share, subscribe, like this video, and I will get you more reviews as time goes on. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time.